Remanada. Chapter 1. Sancre Tor and the Birth of Reman. And in those days the empire of the Cyrodiils was dead, save in memory only, for through war and slug famine and iniquitous rulers, the west split from the east, and Calovia's estrangement lasted some 400 of years. And the earth was sick with dissundering. Once worthy western kings, of Anvil and Sarchel, of Falkreath and Deladadil, became through pride and habit as like thief barons, and forgot covenant. In the heartland things were no better, as arcanists and false moth princes lay in drugged stupor, or the studies of vileness, and no one sat on the throne in dusted generations. Snakes and the warnings of snakes went unheeded, and the land bled with ghosts and deep-set holes unto cold harbors. It is said that even the Chim el Adabal, the amulet of the kings of glory, had been lost, and its people saw no reason to find it. And it was in this darkness that King Harol set out from the lands beyond, lost twile with a sortie of questing knights, numbered 18 less one, all of them western sons and daughters. For Harol had seen in his visions the snakes to come, and sought to heal all the borders of his forebears. And to this host appeared at last a spirit who resembled none other than Elestia, queen of ancient times, who bore in her left hand the dragon fire of the Akatosh, and in her right hand the jewels of the covenant, and on her breast a wound that spilled void onto her mangled feet. And seeing Elestia and Chim el Adabal, Adabal, Huarol and his knights wailed and set to their knees, and prayed for all things to become as right. Unto them the Spirit said, I am the healer of all men and the mother of dragons. But as you have run so many times from me, so shall I run until you learn my pain, which renders you and all this land dead. And the Spirit fled from them, and they split among hills and forests to find her, all grieving that they had become a villainous people. Hrol and his shield thane were the only ones to find her. And the king spoke to her, saying, I love you, sweet Aless, sweet wife of Shor, and of Oriel and the sacred bull, and would render this land alive again, not through pain, but through a return to the dragon fires of covenant, to join east and west, and throw off all ruin. And the shield thane bore witness to the spirit opening naked to his king, carving on a nearby rock the words, and Hrol did love unto a hillock before dying in the sight of their union. When the 15 other knights found King Hrol, they saw him dead after his labors against a mound of mud. And they parted each in their way, and some went mad. And the 2 that returned to their homeland beyond Twel would say nothing of Hrol, and acted ashamed for him. But after 9 months that mound of mud became as a small mountain, and there were whispers among the shepherds and bulls. A small community of believers gathered around that growing hill during the days of its first churning, and they were the first to name it, the Golden Hill, Sancre Tor. And it was the shepherdess said Yenna who dared climb the hill when she heard his first cry, and at its peak she saw what it had yielded, an infant she named Reman, which is light of man, and in the child's forehead was the Chim el Adabal, alive with the dragon fires of yore and divine promise. And none dared obstruct said Yenna when she climbed the steps of white gold tower to place the babe Reman on his throne, where he spoke as an adult, saying, I am Cyrodiil come. Chapter 2. The Chevalier Reynold, Blade of the Pig. And in the days of interregnum, the Chim el Adabal was lost again amid the petty wars of gone heathen kings. West and east knew no union then, and all the lands outside of them saw Cyrodiil as a nest of snake men and snakes. And for 4 more hundreds of years did the seat of Reman stay sundered, with only the machinations of a group of loyal knights keeping all its borders from throwing wide. These loyal knights did go by no name then, but were known by their eastern swords and painted eyes, and it was whispered that they were descended from the bodyguard of old Reman. One of their number, called the Chevalier Reynold, discovered the prowess of Cuchulainn and then supported him towards the throne. Only later would it be revealed that Reynold did this thing to come closer to Talos, Aenon Stormcrown, the glorious yet Emperor Tiber Septim, only later still that he was under instruction by a pig. Long Glory was wife to all the knights of the Dragon Banner, who knew no other and were brothers before, beyond many seas, and now were brothers under the law, named the Blade. Surrender of Pale Pass. And having vampire blood, these brother knights lived for ages through and past Riman, and then kept guard over his ward, the coiled king, Versidu Shaye. The snake captain Vershu became Reynold, became the protector of the northern west when the black dart was hooked into Severian Chorak. Here, torn pages indicate that the rest of this ancient book has been lost.